Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today's conversation is one that many of us can relate to, I think, especially when it comes to how money affects our relationships. A recent study found that nearly half of Americans would leave their partner for $1 million. But why? Is financial security more important than love? In this episode, we're talking about how financial dependence influences relationships and what it says about the role money plays in long-term partnerships. So let's get into it. I have a wonderful royal court today. We have Marlo, TV film producer. We have Joe Corley, licensed therapist, mental wellness coach, and educator. And me, Lala, your singing international real estate agent. Now, listen, when I saw this title, I about fainted. So my initial thoughts, a quick answer, is we all are in relationships here. Marlo, you're newly engaged, but you've been in a long-term relationship. So would you trade your partner for $1 million?
No, no.
That was my first thought. There's no way I'm trading my partner for $1 million. You can't pay me enough. I'm not trading my partner. No way. What about you, Joe? Would you trade your partner?
Not at all. I would not. Not for me.
Not at all. Not at all. I love that. So listen, we obviously know the value of having a healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. To me, these people who are answering this may not have found the love that we have. So I'm asking you, viewership family, would you leave your partner for $1 million? If so, why? If not, why? So raise them up. Give them some props if you're like, I ain't turning in my partner. And if you are saying why, then we want to hear why. So listen, we're going to start off with this conversation with a video, and then we'll jump right back into it.
Would you leave your current romantic partner for $1 million? Because according to a new survey, 43% of Americans would take the cash and ditch their mates. So let me ask you, I don't want to, but they're forcing me to. Is there a dollar amount you would take to leave your husband?
No. Can't put a price on love. But the same survey, 13% of Americans would publicly embarrass themselves on TV for $5,000 or less.
Yeah,
I do it for free all the time.
You're getting paid for it. You don't do it.
Oh, that is
free.
true. I've done social media for free, though.
I mean, if you think about it, another stat is 4% would do it for $500. I mean, that just goes to show you the state of our would publicly embarrass themselves for $500. I mean, that tells you a little bit about the state of our country.
Or our finances.
And personal finances. But 100%, 81% would embarrass themselves on live TV or social media for $33 million. I do believe that I would do that.
Well, that's easy.
That's no question.
I believe I would.
I'd streak for it. No, I'm just kidding.
You think you would?
I don't know. I think I might.
No, I kid. It's the level of embarrassment.
Yeah, it really depends.
I would humiliate myself.
Yeah, I don't know that you would.
15% of people answered would frame a friend for a crime they didn't commit. What kind of friends do you have?
I know. That's crazy.
That's
nuts.
I find it, I don't think it would be worth it to me because
No.
I would lose a repairman, a driver, my husband, a driver,
Yeah.
somebody who knows how to
Yeah.
fix the cable box.
Yeah,
he knows how to do it, walks the dog. I mean, it's not worth it
Yeah,
to me.
I couldn't lose Manny for $1 million. But check this also out. Nearly half of Americans would enter a real-life version of Squid Game for a shot at $33 million. By the way, Squid Game is
People
a deadly
die in
game.
that game.
99.8% of people
Most
die.
people die in Squid Game.
Like,
That's why I don't
I wouldn't
pick up
do
the
that
phone,
one.
Okay? When they call with these dumbass surveys.
yeah.
I have to tell you guys, I actually agree with Whoopi on that. I mean, I agree with Whoopi a lot of the times. Like, a lot of these are just dumbass surveys to me that make no sense. But Marlo, listen, I mean, we obviously hear this is a pretty high thing, and we also know polls can be skewed. But we talk a lot on this show about financial dependence and independence, and that has to be a big part of why a lot of divorces happen. Money is usually one of the top reasons outside of cheating that causes people to have a problem with this. So you stated that you wouldn't trade your partner, and I would like you to now expound on that for us. Tell us a little bit about why money is not a factor in your partner.
Well, because it's a people, it's not a thing, right? It's for one, right? It is a true companion. It's somebody that you can tell all my deepest secrets. Like, just it, I can't compare it to a piece of paper that somebody controls the value of from day to day, right? That I can't compare the people that I love in my life to paper. Let's like be so for real right now. It's silly. Like, I agree with Joy Behar when she she listed all the things that her husband does. Right, I have an in-house comedian, an engineer, minor fix-it person, an amateur chef. Like there are so many benefits that you get when you partner with the right person. And we talked about partnering with the wrong person a lot. So I think it's just, to me, it's silly, but it's silly because I value people over things. So unless it's just somebody I don't like, I'm never going to take that bet.
I'm with you on that. And I'm going to take this time to also raise up my husband as well, because for one, we've been through everything together. We went to school together. We finished each other's sentences. We talk in song lyrics and movie quotes. I know that I have my partner with me. He is my forever person. So for me, money doesn't mean anything. We were together when we didn't have any, and we are still together when we do. And if something should happen again, we still want to be together, because that's just how we roll. I just don't see money as a replacement for people. And that's just my thought about that. Now, Joe, I'm actually going to throw that to you too, because I feel like we also should talk about, what the difference is. We see you're talking about money versus things. I'm sure you see a lot of this in your therapy. So I'm curious to know, what type of advice would you give to someone who says they would definitely leave for $1 million?
Well, immediately, I'm gonna tell you that your relationship is not you wanting to leave for $1 million. Then your relationship is not on stable ground anyway, and you're not in a relationship that you possibly should be in, because your relationship is tied to survival, or or survival is the primary focus in your life, not necessarily love. So, obviously as a therapist, I understand how economic hardships shapes our view around love. But for a lot of us, especially in Black communities, love and survival, got tangled up a long, long time ago. So understanding that those two things don't go together, like you just said, if we go broke, we gonna go broke together. That's because, Lala, your relationship is not tied to survival, you know. But a lot of people's are, you know what I mean? And your circumstances, your past traumas and all those things, a lot of times they determine how you show up in relationships and how you even get into them, whatever your attachment is about. So if somebody comes to me and says, "Well, I would leave my partner for $1 million," then I'm gonna start talking to them about what are your attachments, what that is.
You're highly needed right now, Joe. I'm going to pick it up from here while you handle that. Listen, I'm actually going to talk about some of the comments that we have. We asked our viewership audience as well. Jared says everybody's got a price. No, baby, I don't. I don't have a price for my relationship. I think you can see this panel doesn't either. But Jared, why do you say that? Come on, dig into it. Don't just throw that out there and then don't follow up. Dr. Vibe says, what does it say about the current state of relationships? Exactly. I think it probably has some problems that we have. But listen, guys, last week we also talked about lavender marriages, right? And in those cases, the people who were together, they want a little, and although sexually was not a thing for lavender marriages, but the emotional connection. So, it's a lot of twists and turns out here in these streets with relationships. Dennis says, no, ma'am, I would pump and dump a whole term insurance policy for the both of us and start a business. Damien says that this is demonic, and they're telling on themselves. Damien, I find that very interesting. That said your name too, and we're talking about demonic. If you don't love our Father, you love no one. Because how did we learn to love? Listen, that's true. That's very true. I think we've got some really good comments on there, and I just find this very interesting. So we are getting ready to take a short break, and we're going to dig back into this a little bit harder. But hey, debate us, baby, debate us. This is what we're here for. We don't talk at you, we talk with you. So debate us if you feel differently, because I'd like to hear your thoughts. We'll be right back.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
And definitely we are talking about knowing and growing, and also financial households and stability of that. So we're going to continue with this. So Joe, I'm going to pick up with you with a little different question. How important is it for both partners to be financially independent?
Very important. A lot of us have been taught to love with like one eye on the bank account. So when you're raised in a system where, scarcity is normal, and that's not for everybody, but I mean, you kind of start making choices that prioritize like financial safety over emotional connection. And a lot of people aren't choosing between love and money. They're choosing between survival and struggle. I don't want to struggle, and Black people have been doing that for centuries, unfortunately, right? So that's where a lot of it comes from. So if you're coming into a situation where both of us financially are stable, then we take the struggle out of it. It's not even a factor into what we're doing, and honestly, it gives us an opportunity to create a genuine emotional connection. As sad as that actually kind of is, it's the truth, because a lot of people build love on like economic trauma bonding. You need to ask yourself, would I still choose this person if I felt safe and supported and secure without them? That's what the ability to come into a relationship financially stable means.
I think you're right about that. But I also see so much conflict in what we see in real life. So, meaning in the streets, we always see people pretending to be more than what they are, and then we complain about, well, they pretending, but yet we tell each other to visualize. So there's a lot of conflict in this for me. And so I'm going to ask you, Marlo, do you really feel that someone can truly love their partner if they feel like they're financially unstable? Because that is a part of the relationship.
Um, I guess you ask the question again because I felt like it was a joke question.
I know, but because I think I've answered it too, but I want to hear somebody else's thought on this. Can someone truly love their partner if they feel financially unstable?
I think it's two different things. Obviously, I think that the financial instability will creep over into the love, right? But I think that if you have a full understanding of what love is, it's there are other things in that, right? Now, is this person not trying, not, like there are so many factors, right? I can only speak for myself and say that, yeah, in my immature thought of love, if I didn't have financial stability, probably running would be a great option. But I think as I've matured and have been in varying states of financial security, the other things that lacked, the money didn't matter. Being able to go out to eat or being able to go and shop or travel comfortably when those other things were lacked and those other things were missing, that didn't matter. So I think it really is like an individual mindset. Some people, it goes back to those love languages, right? Some people's love language involves you purchasing things and having the means to buy things. And if that's somebody that you find yourself falling in love with, be ready to show your love in that way. But I think that we definitely have to understand how people perceive and receive love and how people define what they feel love is. Like, these are important conversations that people should have in a relationship, because you would hate for somebody to walk by and give your cutie $1 million and say, all right, and get rid of him, and then you out of here. So
I agree. This is something, and Joe, you back me or tell me if I'm wrong about this. You have to understand your love language. And I think that you hit on that perfectly, Marlo, because there are many different love languages. And if your partner doesn't speak that love language, then that's when you're going to have problems with that. Me personally, I don't need things. I don't need things and don't want things. What's more important for me is being able to laugh, to be able to cuddle and watch movies and eat popcorn together. And, to me, I don't need material things. I would rather have that emotional contact. So, Joe, do you think that it is really, really important for the love languages to be discussed before even entering into a relationship?
Yes, partially. I do feel like, that's a deeper conversation, but I do think everybody needs to understand how they like to be loved, and how they like to give love. I had a client actually this week who broke up from one situation and now getting into a new situation, and he's going into his new situation trying to do things like he did in the old one, based on what the old girlfriend was complaining about, and the new one hasn't even asked for none of this stuff. But he's still so kind of I almost want to say traumatized by what happened in the last relationship, that he's treating this new girl in a way that trying to satisfy his old girlfriend. And I'm saying all that to say that, yeah, you definitely need to understand and communicate how you want to give and receive love. That should be talked about in a real way.
Mm, that's very interesting that he would carry that over into another relationship, and you could see why it wouldn't fit. I'm really glad you brought that up. That's a great point. We have another video that I'm going to bring up. Just going to put a little bit of a twist on this as well. Let's check this out.
You give up your partner for one night for $1 million.
All seven of them.
Me? Who? I don't know.
Whoever is ready to answer.
Fuck yeah.
For $1 million.
My partner?
For your partner. For one night. Not
Yes.
your partner, your girl. Like,
Yes.
Not the seven dwarves. That you
Yes. She ain't worth $1 million.
You didn't say what my partner was going to be doing for that one night. They could just be chilling.
No. They're having sex. No, on him, because. Okay, so tell us. So you have a girlfriend, long-time girlfriend, like 4 years. Somebody comes to you and they're like, "Yo, let me fuck your girl for $1 million." Go.
Go.
Go, bitch.
$1
I say
million. You
yes. I
serious?
say yeah.
Both of you say yeah?
What does she do for a living? Besides spend the money?
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Get on. Give me that millie. Millie?
So what happens when she comes back?
She don't have to come back. I got $1 million.
She don't have to come back.
No, you got $1 million for your partner? That's just like you killed them off and got the insurance money.
True. That's a sale.
What?
That is true.
Nah, that's bullshit.
What?
No, I want him to
So
come
what?
back.
And you get you like a new woman. You get a new partner.
Yeah, hopefully he do the same thing for her to make it a business.
Oh, so now you're a pimp. You're just a pimp at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That was the first thing I thought of when I watched that. I was like, all of a sudden you've become a pimp, because that's exactly what that sounded like. She's not bringing her back or anything like that. But Marlo, I really would like to hear your thoughts on what we just saw and your opinions.
I guess this is a plot twist to the original topic, because they're talking about, I guess, it's like an exchange almost. That's the way I understood this conversation to be. And I mean, are we selling people? I don't know. One of my least favorite people in the whole wide world is in that video. So I really can't, my brain won't even allow me to like comprehend what was just said in that video. I think it's a silly, I think it's silly. I think I don't know. You want to sell people? You're a human trafficker? Like, I don't even understand in this day and age. I don't even understand the way she phrased that question. Like, if somebody wants your, is that like the movie? What was that movie, Indecent Proposal?
Yeah, what was that movie?
It was like Demi Moore, and she was supposed to have sex with a guy for the $1 million for the one night. Like, is that what we talking about? Like, I ain't even entertaining that. Because first of all, Gilbert Arenas has money. So why is he entertaining it like he is hard up for $1 million? It's the whole thing. That's stupid. That video, stupid. I don't like
it. Joe, I do want to hear your thoughts on it too, because listen, one of the questions that we had in our from our viewers is, do you think that a woman would answer differently than a man? And what we just saw, both of them basically said the same thing. So what is your thoughts on that?
So you know how I do. I'm going to give y'all more perspective, right?
Give it, Joe. Give it.
Here you go. I look at that situation. One, I see that's his woman sitting next to him. So she has decided, okay, this is acceptable for me. But also understanding that particular man talking. His mother abandoned him at 3 years old. And she never came back. And when she did come back, he was a professional basketball player. So she abandoned him at 3 years old, popped up at one of his games one time and said, "Hey, I'm your mom." He gave her a hug, and he never spoke to her again until she passed away. So not knowing all the details about it, what do you think that does to your value of women in relationships when, it took you becoming, in his mind, a famous, rich basketball player for your mother? Your mother. How many people have their mother abandon them to come back and be a part of your life? Now, it's totally on him to seek healing and understanding and all those other things, which clearly I don't think he has, obviously. But his value of women is different from, you're going to ask an everyday person. So just insight on when I look at that, I say I get kind of sad. Like, dang, that man's mother's abandoned him, and now he don't really understand the value of love and relationships. He can't tie it to anything but, making a lot of money. People love me.
That's very interesting, because there are a lot of things in childhood that we tie to that fall straight into relationships. And a lot of times many people don't know why. But that's very interesting that you pointed that out, because this seems like it's deep-seated, right? But you know how we do. I got to pull up some of our stats, because they are very telling. So let's check out a couple of stats that we have on this. 43% of Americans would leave their partner for $1 million, according to a survey by Gamblizzard. Never heard of them before. Shared by Study Finds. 43 is high, guys. 32% of people have stayed in a relationship longer than they wanted to because of financial dependence, according to a 2023 survey. Now, that is very, very interesting, but I sometimes feel like our surroundings have a lot to do with our relationships as well. So, Marlo, I'm going to ask you, do you feel that there are societal pressures about wealth and status that actually play into relationship choices?
Every day, depending on what information you are taking in, what information you are seeking, what programming you are spending hours taking in and watching and connecting with in some way, absolutely is you gonna feel pressure, right? You're gonna feel pressure to have relationship goals. You're gonna have pressure to be a boss babe, a bossy boss chick, or a big status boss dude. Like, it's all around us, right? Every single day there, we see people who appear to have it, and then we find out that they were straight up scamming. Like, everybody is in this aesthetic trap of what a relationship looks like, of what a family looks like. How do you present yourself as a family? How do you present yourself as a person who is a boss, right? We are of means. How do you show your house? Like, all of this stuff is really curated and kind of detrimental, because depending on what you filled your algorithm with, and that's everything. That's your search algorithm. That's all the spaces, not just social media. Depending on what you filled your algorithm with, you probably have a lot of things that make you feel inadequate popping up and imposing in your day throughout the day. I do want to say one thing. The survey numbers are super high, and I would love to know how many people were part of the survey. Was this a 790 people survey? Was this a 520 people survey? When we see these numbers, I just want to say it because I deal with surveys and data every day. When we see these surveys and it says 43% of Americans, that could be 43% of 598 Americans. So I just want to put that into perspective. I don't think that most people will throw their partners away for $1 million, especially if it's a good functional relationship, especially because we see people with lots of money be very unhappy and do the things that very poor, unhappy people do in terms of taking their own lives and just spiraling out of control and getting addicted to substance. So pump your brakes, people. Love the people around you. Don't be worried about these surveys involving 427 Americans.
Exactly. And thank you for bringing that up, Marlo, because a lot of people do fall into the trap of believing a lot of these surveys, and you don't know the dynamics behind those surveys. Naomi said the way this guy is talking about the video we just watched, he is already assuming that his woman would be okay to be with someone else. Like, there was no thought whatsoever to how she felt or not. Jared said, let's not forget the concept of marriage was transactional in the first place. Aha. With that being said, I'm going to let us think and marinate on that, and we'll come back from a commercial.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
We are here to help you. We always talk about money. All right. So you should up your financial house yourself. And we have a lot of great topics in the Fly Nubian Money Club. You don't want to miss it. It's actually pretty priceless. So go ahead and sign up today at flynubianmoneyclub.com. Now, listen, I want to hit two more stats that we have because they're very interesting as well. So we're going to check these out before we move on with this conversation. 23% of people admitted they would go back to an ex if it meant securing financial stability, per the same survey. That's actually interesting. According to a 2022 study from the National Endowment for Financial Education, 56% of couples argue about money more than any other topic, revealing a financial strain in a relationship. Wow, that's pretty high. So, Joe, with that being said, with those stats, do you believe that money should ever be a deal breaker in a relationship?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. You know what I mean? Listen, love ain't free, but it shouldn't cost you your peace. You shouldn't be sacrificing your peace for nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, sometimes money does come into play. I mean, it's a capitalistic society, and and that's just what it is. But we're already under pressure from a lot of different things, trying to understand our worth and trying to figure that out, and black men always getting their worth being tied to what they provide, and black women often have that mindset of hold it down no matter what. This is a heavy emotional tax. So the problem is that people are often told that they have to choose between money and love, and the truth is we just you can do both at the same time, and you can do both of them well. So understanding that, but yeah, sometimes yeah, money does come into play. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's true. And some people also have financial trauma. Like if they grew up very poor and they don't want to continue their life like that, that does have a direct effect on who they want to date or end up being married at all. But there is a historical thing to marriage. It's not always about love. Remember, we've also had periods where people still do it, arranged marriages. I know a couple that was an arranged marriage, and they're like celebrating 60 years now, believe it or not. So Jared said, let's not forget the concept of marriage was transactional in the first place. So I want to tap into that question with you, Marlo. Do you feel like that could be something beneficial for today's world? Or is this now just a new world where we don't need to worry about it being transactional anymore? Because some people really love this concept of power couples, right?
I think if you make things, whatever you make transactional is transactional. Some people have transactional friendships. Some people have transactional relationships and parent-child relationships. So I think if you make things transactional, they will be transactional. I don't know that there is really a reason other than like if that's what you are rooted in traditionally or religiously, you're rooted in arranged marriage. I think that in this day and age, people, because love is something that most people long for, is something that most people want. I think that you should be able to seek that on your own if that's what you want. Some people don't want it. Some people want to be alone, and that should be okay too. I wish we could get to a place where, as long as you're not hurting your neighbor, as long as you aren't causing unnecessary undue stress on other people, live your existence. You want to love, love. You want to be transactional, girl, go do your thing. But don't worry about me as I'm going and charting my own personal path of love. I think that what happens is we get into these silo conversations and it spills out in sound bites, and then everybody gets butthurt over, whatever they feel their dog is in the fight. And I wish you just said, I don't have a damn dog in this fight. I don't care as long as you aren't hurting somebody. Do your thing, chicken wing, because life is too short. We spend so much time on these types of conversations and should this be, and worried about, this person and what kind of ring you got. And it don't matter, y'all. It does not matter. Genuine connection, authentic, meaningful moments. I am building a life every day of small, tiny moments that I sit back and look back on, and it makes me very happy. but that's for me, right? Some people may need to be swinging off the Eiffel Tower or go and take pictures under Big Ben, even though they didn't realize it was a clock. They thought it was something else. If that's what you need, baby, rock on, because we only get a few years on this little wet spinning rock. Make the most out of it.
I am in 1000 infinity agreement with you on that, Marlo. I'm at the point in my life right now. If you're not hurting anybody, babies, animals, old people, or anybody else that don't want to be hurt, then it's none of my business. And Double A says, "Yep, Marlo, it's called minding your business. Maybe one day." Now, Crump Crazy says, "Well, now now you know how your significant other feels," which actually kind of ties into Dr. Five's question. And I'm going to throw this to you, Joe, because things can be a little deeper than what the surface says. So, what might be a long-term emotional consequence for someone who leaves their partner for money?
That is a really good question. I feel like there's a lot of things, right? I mean, you have leaving your partner for money. It might offer you some short-term security, right? But in the long term, like, there's just a huge emotional cost, and it can go into regret. You lose yourself almost all the time. Every single time you trade anything for money, a lot of times you have to give up pieces of your identity, right? So you lose yourself, and then you start dealing with trust issues and unprocessed grief. So you can't really. It's really difficult to be trading emotional connection for currency, because it's like you're teaching yourself that relationships are just transactional,
Mm,
and that
mm.
love is only valuable when it's convenient. You know what I mean? Like, these are the type of things that you start talking to yourself about, and you know, it's not. The question shouldn't be whether you would leave for money. It's like, what emotional need are you trying to buy? What do you need that money for? What that you couldn't meet? What emotional need are you trying to feel that you couldn't feel inside of your relationship? Is basically what I'm.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because that's what you need to feel. That deep hole that will make you say, sacrifice. Just like Marlo said, all that stuff, honestly, in the big scheme of things, don't even matter. So why do you need those things? Especially, are you living your life for the purpose of being seen in a different way by other people? Why are you living your life? You're living your life to be. That stuff doesn't do anything. There's plenty of rich people that are miserable, right?
I think we see that. Yeah, a lot of rich people who are miserable, who want to be ruling the world. Even money is not enough. They'd rather rule the world and have the power over other people. So, it's not always about money. So, listen, I do want to tap back into something with you, Marlo. Should people expect financial support from their partners, or should they also be fully independent?
Whatever works for that relationship. If you have a partner who wants to take financial control, they want to be the financial leader, if that's acceptable to you, then do that. I think that what we often find ourselves doing is trying to put ourselves in somebody else's situation, right? I want X's life. I want such and such as marriage. Well, you can't have that because that's for those people. The best thing you can do is figure out the things that you want, the things that you don't want, and then go into negotiation. We talked about negotiations last week. Go into negotiation with your partner. What are the things that you want? We want to have intimate sexual relationships with people. We want to do the energy exchange. That's what they talk about on the internet, right? You exchanging the energy, taking in the DNA. We want to do DNA alterations according to the internet with people. But we don't want to have conversations about what our expectations are, what our long-term goals are, what our short-term goals are. And that is, to me, is crazy business, right? You gonna do everything except for plan the life that you want with the person that you say you want that life with. Like, I just want us to, take relationships seriously, take this building seriously. You got family matters, people care about family, but then 43% of Americans say they're going to kick the family to the curb if they get presented with a big old fat check for $1 million. So I think people need to be honest about what it is that they want out of life. If you can't figure out what you want out of life, call Joe, because Joe can help you cut through all of that BS and figure out what is driving your action and where you're trying to go and how all of that stuff comes together. But this idea of what is right is not. It's right for me. I can tell you what's right for me, and hopefully you can learn from what's right for me and figure out what's right for you. But that's all I got. That's it. This is an exhausting conversation, y'all. This is the craziest hypothetical I think we've tackled.
I think it is too, but I think for our panel, we're pretty grounded. Sometimes I wish we did have a little of a wild card, maybe someone who's single. But for us, I think we're pretty grounded. And this is why I'm definitely asking our family viewership audience, but they seem to be agreeing with us too on this one. I don't know where they've come up with this survey. It's actually really interesting. But they did say in the first video, let's go back to the first video and talk a little bit about what else they said. It wasn't just all about giving up your partner. They actually said that there was a certain percentage of people who would embarrass themselves online for a certain amount of money. So Joe, I'm going to ask you this. I mean, is this money thing seem to be such a bigger problem, or is it the desire to be influential in some kind of way? I mean, how much is social media really fueling a lot of this?
I mean, yeah, sure, it could fuel some of it, but a lot of this stuff just is internal. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who look at social media and don't feel no kind of way about it, and not motivated by the things that they see because that's not internally what they're on. So it's all coming from the inside. Everything that you take in is going to be influenced by what's already in there, and the output is going to be determined by what's already in there. So it's like we put in, think of it like a little machine. You know what I mean? What's in the middle of that machine? We put something in, it goes to the machine, and then something comes out. Whatever comes out is going to be determined by what's already inside that machine. So that's the part that needs to be focused on. You need to focus on what is in you that makes you want to try to live up to whatever you see on social media or whatever's driving you to make you think you want to have, what I'm saying, Gucci belts and all this other stuff that you think those things are important to you. So that's where it all comes from.
I think that once again, Joe, what's our favorite word? Communication is all about everything that we do. If you don't open your mouth, I always say, my mom always said, a closed mouth never gets fed. When I was a kid, I was like, what the heck is she talking about? And then as you get older, you really start to see that if you don't open your mouth and speak for yourself and ask for the things that you want, then of course it's never going to get fed, because people can make assumptions about you in any kind of way. And if you don't correct it or have peace within your own heart about what it is that you want that's important to you, that's where all the problems start to come in, right? So with that being said, we're definitely going to take a break and we will be right back.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
Probably. Listen, we are doing some damage with what we are doing with our Blackout Fridays. Now, For me, Lala is doing way more than Blackout Fridays. We ask our viewership here to always do this on Fridays with us because sometimes you may not be able to not shop at certain places, right? Let's be honest. Sometimes that's all you have in your communities. But I am looking, I'm sure everybody on this panel can answer the same thing. We are looking for your business, and it's free. So please send us all of your business information, your business name, your name, email, websites, bio, phone number, so that people can reach you easily for free. So please send that into info@realvirtual.net. Okay. I'm excited about this. I'm so excited about this because I am truly looking for Black owned businesses to spend my Black money with. All right. So I want to get a couple of comments before we hit our next video. Walterine says, "Is peace possible for both partners when it's a transactional relationship? When one partner thinks it is more, my peace of mind is first and foremost for me." I think that's a really good. I'm going to ask you, Joe. Do you think that is? Do you agree with that statement? Do you think that peace is possible for both partners when it's transactional?
Man, there's so many layers to that question. It's so many factors to determine, but yes, I think it's possible. I don't think it's impossible to reach peace when both partners are in it for a transactional purpose. So yeah, I'm just gonna answer it like that. But there would be a lot of questions and things that need to be answered, a lot of inner work that needs to be done, a lot of external work with your partner to get to a space where y'all have understanding of what it is that you actually need to feed yourself and feed your soul. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, but on the short, possible.
Very interesting, because earlier in the show, I did mention I know a couple who's been married for 60 years. That was transactional. And they are one of the happiest couples that I know. Like, they didn't really date very long. It was a letter bride situation. And they have 4 children together, great grandchildren now. And it wasn't necessarily in the beginning for love, but they made it work. So once again, like Marlo and I are saying, it's what you desire, what's working for you in your life. That worked for them. What worked for them may not work for someone else. And, our producer just said the key words: to each their own. Things change, but that doesn't mean you have to conform to what the world is right now. Somebody in Utah might have 8 wives. If that works for them, then that works for them. As long as you ain't hurting nobody.
All
but
right.
We're going to check out one more video, and we're getting back in this conversation.
All right, y'all. So I was asked this question. And I'm like, yeah, instantly I knew the answer. If you came into millions of dollars today, would you leave your wife? What? Listen to me, y'all. If you feel like your significant other would leave you if they came into some money, you need to run right now. Leave my wife? No. My first reaction is like, oh, now we out. I mess around, leave these kids before I leave my wife. You kidding me? Hey, mama, I'm paying you. Just hold these kids down. Me and Delisa out. You can't be serious. I would never. Everything I do is for her. Everything I want to do with her. Everything I can think of, I run by her. I need her to experience the joy of financial freedom with me. If y'all don't feel that way, get out of what you are in right now.
Marlo, he sound like us, don't he? He sound just like us. But that makes me ask a question. Does the financial success of one partner ever cause jealousy or insecurity in the relationship?
I guess I'll answer. I don't know. I think me and Joe both friends. I think it can. I think it definitely can. Right. I think that, again, they are conversations. I would like to think that I'm in a relationship where if, say today or tomorrow I money wise just skyrocket, and some project that I'm working on just goes crazy, and I get a lot of money, right? I would like to think that he would be just ready to go on that ride with me and help me make good, sound investment decisions and not feel a way about it. But I think also there's control in money, right? So the person that, you know, makes the most money may be the person that is reminding the other party that they have the biggest pair, they have the biggest account, they are the money maker, right? And I think if you get into that kind of money driving your ego, I think that that could definitely be problematic for a relationship. But as with anything, you got to talk about it. You got to be, how can I involve you in this so that you feel like this money and success is partly yours without you thinking you entitled, right? Without causing some kind of crazy entitlement. But I think again, it's about partnership. And if you have somebody, I'm happy to say I have somebody that cheers for me, and I ain't making a whole lot of money. It just whatever the wins are, he gonna cheer. And so I would like to think that that would continue if those wins started to accumulate lots and lots of zeros in the bank.
Like the lots and lots of zeros in the back. So Joe, listen, what financial goals should couples, you're a therapist, so what goals should couples have in mind when they're first starting a relationship?
It's all about how you want to do life. You know what I mean? And that, in that moment, because obviously that changes and evolves over time. But what goals do you have about how you want to do life now and in the future based on where you're at now? And those are the conversations that you should have, and making sure you're all on the same page. Do you want to have children? Do you want to? Some people don't want to own a home. Some people do. So, like I said, some people want to have kids. Some people don't. All these things are wrapped up in how your money's gonna look. Like, how you want to live when, what I'm saying, when you're done working. Do you want to be traveling, or do you want to be, say, on the farm somewhere? All those things take money. So it's all about how you want to do life. Those are the conversations you need to have, and you need to find somebody that can help you make those financial choices so that you can get that out of your mind and live a life peacefully that doesn't concern with you constantly in survival mode. Because when you're constantly in survival mode as partners, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have conflict. You're going to argue, and a lot of times, a lot of people are going to split when they didn't have to. You know what I mean? There are people that are maybe should be together that are not because they couldn't have these conversations in a healthy way.
I think that's a really great point. And once again, we're back down to what our basic principles of foundation is communication. You can let love really give you the butterflies, but that also means if you love someone that much, you also need to sit down and really have the tough conversations before you're ready to take the next step. I just think that's a very important part of relationships, period. And those are the ones that tend to be the most successful. AC says dollars lose value by the second. We shouldn't count ourselves as so cheap. I absolutely love that. And Black Lexicon, hello, Black Lexicon. I see the problem not in terms of wanting designer items, but that is where their mind is. It's actually not fully understanding what is a luxury. Not all luxuries are overpriced. And Black Lexicon also says, I personally don't need every luxury in the world, not even just to impress someone beyond a business possibility. I think that is what is important to us, is being able to relate to one another in a emotional and not only just physical, but a mental connection. And some of us may not necessarily know how to do it. Some of us kind of stumble along into it if we didn't have good examples. Me, myself, I have beautiful examples in my life, and I knew what a healthy relationship looked like. However, family member of mine, same family, had the same examples, but for whatever reason, they stumbled through it as well because they rejected what they saw. So it all depends on the person and who you're with as well. But this actually truly leads us into our final thoughts. And I think y'all all kind of know what our final thoughts are going to be. But Marlo, I would love to hear your thoughts on how it is that you think that we can be more successful in our relationships where this is not even a question.
Well, I think be present. Be present in your relationship, because being present, you will know if what you're giving is not the equivalent of what you're receiving. You'll be able to see all of the red flags that everybody's like, how'd you miss that? Don't trade your partner in for $1,000,000 unless your partner, committed a crime, and that's what the bounty is. Then go on, do justice and be a good citizen and get your $1,000,000. Other than that, you should not be trading your loved one in if they are really a loved one. I don't know what else to say about this. I said everything I had to say. I had my final thought 5 minutes ago. Let's have Joe say something really smart and sensitive so that I could feel better about myself for the rest of the day.
But where can we find you?
Oh, yes. You can follow me on Instagram. That's my Instagram handle there. Or you can, if you need the Marlo Group for your services, you want to know more about SEO, you want to know more about how you can be found in this internet space, you want to get past the aesthetics of social media and get to real connections with people who need what your business or service is, contact the Marlo Group, schedule a consultation, shoot me an email, ask me a question. We're here for you.
You know what I like to say when Marlo comes up about her SEO, you've got to be seen in green because everybody is looking for you. And there's a lot of people vying for your attention, and you got to get your name out there. SEO is the key. So you definitely want to make sure that you hook up with Marlo. And by the way, guys, if you didn't know, she did an excellent class with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So guess what? If you haven't done that, you need to sign up with that as well. Joe, what are your final thoughts? I would love to hear what your key takeaway is for this, and then how can we find you as well?
Yeah, this was a very good conversation, I thought. And, listen, no one's coming to offer you $1,000,000 to leave your partner. That's not really a thing. It's not about $1,000,000, but it is about, our emotional security and dealing with our unmet needs. That's where I get from this conversation. And, what we've been taught to value when we're in loving relationships. What do you value? And I understand. We struggle. We have financial trauma, so some of us value money, and because that represents a form of freedom that we didn't have when we were younger. So we want that for ourselves. So I get that, but love, that's a currency that what I'm saying, that we sometimes don't learn how to spend wisely because we often talk about or thinking about other stuff. So we need to really understand the value in love, and especially black love, and what that can do for you. Not only just emotionally but economically too. You can get where you want to go by investing in that, and getting that stable. You will achieve probably financial stability and emotional safety if you do that the right way. So the goal is it's just examine what's underneath everything that's making you make the decisions that you make, because that's where the real value, the real wealth is, that emotional wealth. And so, and you look, my website's been up for all. You can go on my website, find all my socials, find my podcast, tap in. We're having these type of conversations all the time, and I really enjoy them. So, and also, we're trying to help people get to where they need to be, so they don't stress about money in the way that they, and it doesn't mean I'm teaching you how to make money, but I'm teaching you how not to stress about it so you can make money,
Joe, I think you said so much beautiful stuff in that is just priceless, right? Like Marlo, I'm with you on that. You truly always ground us, and I am so grateful to have you on this panel. And I know that you are a great therapist, and this is why, guys, if you need some help, you need to talk to a therapist who can connect to you, not only just sit and listen to you, but connect to you and give you the great advice. So you want to check out Real You Consulting. Before I give my final thoughts, we have heartbreaking news. We have lost Malcolm Jamal Warner. He was 54 years old. He was on a family trip and he drowned. So we are sending much love out to his family. For a lot of us, we knew him as Theo on The Cosby Show, but he's also a very talented musician as well, and really pushed forth a lot of light into the world. So I don't want to end the show without bringing up how much of a light he was into our Black community, growing up with a positive family, regardless of how you feel about things now. He still was a positive force in our community. So thank you, sir, into the beautiful light. And thank you for your service, giving us so much joy in our life. Here's my final thoughts. Listen, when you find your partner, you know that is your person. I'm blessed enough to have my person and to know that that was my person from the very beginning. He is priceless to me, and I will always lift him up as my king. I will always be his wife. I will also be subservient to him because I honor him. He also listens to me. So no amount of money, nothing, no riches in the world, no material thing can ever replace the love that I have with my husband. And I can't imagine ever thinking that he could be replaced for a measly $1 million. And if you want to build your wealth as well with your partners, because you can build together, one of the things that you can do with that is real estate. I'm an international real estate agent, whether that's in Portugal or whether that's in Ghana or whether that's in the United States of America. I have you. I have plenty of free classes, and I have an upcoming masterclass in real estate that can help you start to think about what it takes to buy a home. We'll cover everything from beginning of thinking about buying a house to handing you the keys. So go to my website at www.laurakey.net and sign up for my newsletter so that you can be alerted when that class happens, which is coming up soon. And that's www.laurakey.net. Okay, that announcement, guys, actually gave me a little bit of sadness in my heart. I'm already struggling today, but I want to say thank you to everyone who has come in today. Listen, we have so many people that come in and support us every day. Deborah, Black Lexicon, Dr. Vibe, Double A. Waltrine, we appreciate you for being here today. C. White, we see you, and we appreciate you being here. So thank you for tuning in today for our conversation on the aspects of love and money. It's clear that financial factors play a huge role in our relationships, and whether we like it or not, money can be a driving force. We must continue to have these conversations openly and to learn how to manage finances together and build partnerships based on both love and financial stability. Let's keep empowering ourselves and our relationships to grow stronger, no matter the challenge that we face. So until next time, which is actually tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, stay financially fit, emotionally strong, and keep building. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.